I'm interested thinking about it now. It took a plastics company, Guzzini, to make this work technically. I don't think it would have come from the ceramics industry. In a way, the ceramics industry is a little bit more traditional. That they would accept that the handle of a cup should be made of the same material as the cup, and that it was always going to be that way, because really for thousands of years it's been that way. So Guzzini came along, and they didn't care about the history of ceramics. They were interested in making an exciting product for today. So they brought together plastic and porcelain, an old material together with a new material. It's interesting in a way that whilst we think our landscape changes very quickly, really a lot of things do stay the same. So the new materials in the kitchen, though, of course, are the plastic materials, where you can introduce silica and resin together to make worktops in the kitchen, which you can rub them down, and if they get scratched you can repair them. Those materials have replaced completely natural materials like wood or marble or granite. So there is, in a way, like the motor car industry, there is the replacement of materials that were originally natural materials, and then they become man-made materials. The history of Guzzini is very much the transition, the beginning with bone, natural material, to be replaced by plastic. So that is a tendency happening throughout our lives, that if something is more economic or more practical or more functional through technology, then it replaces what was there before. One of the great things about plastics, of course, is transparency, and it is also more durable. If you drop a piece of plastic, it often won't break. If you drop a piece of porcelain, it very often will break. So each material has its own qualities, its own character, its own ability to solve problems. So I think the interesting thing in design is to always find the right material for the product you're trying to design. All of those materials relate back to natural materials. Like rubber comes from a tree, plastic has forms that can be found in nature, like bone, or like a tortoiseshell was almost like plastic in the beginning. The biggest change is our ability to mass produce with that. And of course plastics has brought colour in a huge way into people's homes. Although I was just looking through the catalogue, the new catalogue for Guzzini, and there's a lot of transparent plastic in the new collection, which kind of interests me, because plastic can be any colour, but maybe there's a fashion coming now for plastic to be transparent, almost like glass, which has a more permanent quality about it. So perhaps plastic has the ability to, as well as be new and be different, it also has the ability to imitate other things. One of the driving forces in our lives now is time, and the ability to save time and do things quicker. And I'm not really sure what people do with all the time they get. Maybe they watch TV or they spend time with their families or something. But there is always some kind of driving force for change. And I think making everything faster is now one of those driving forces. So if we can make things that work better and work more efficiently and work faster, this is all a way of improving and reinventing products. But I think there's a new generation of designers coming who are thinking much more about strategic ideas and in a way less about actual products. So the currency of the future that is really ideas. And it's not just an idea about a better garlic press. It's an idea about what can your client do? Where should they go? What kind of direction should they go? What kind of products should they make? What kind of brand should they develop? And I'm aware that product designers, younger product designers maybe than me, are beginning to think much more this way. And it's more intellectual, and it's a little bit less applied design. Once you arrive at a piece of product design that is required, in a way that's kind of the easy bit. The difficult bit is deciding what kind of product to make. What is your idea for the future? What is your currency? Again, this is an evolutionary process, and you can see a company like Guzzini has evolved, over 90 years from making a handmade product out of natural materials. But what fascinates me as a designer is figuring out how you add to that history and how you add to it in a way that what's new is also part of what was there before. And so as a designer coming into a company from the outside, I think you have to figure out really the culture of that company as much as you can. I think the challenge for everybody involved with food is to make fast food better. This is the challenge. Because what I was saying earlier about time, we all want everything to be quicker. In the UK now, the average time taken to prepare a meal is 10 minutes. So there is a continual process of having to rethink how we're living. It's continually changing. But I think there is a feeling that we need less things, really. So you have less things, and the things you have are really good. Or maybe that's just how I think it should be, more than a kind of a trend. But I kind of feels like for my generation that this is a more sensible approach. That you have really good things that you love, and you don't need quite so much.